Welcome to the Dog Mom Knits podcast, episode 9. My name is Amanda, and you can find me on Instagram as Dog Mom Knits, on Ravelry as Dog Mom Knits 08. We have an email address for this podcast, which is dogmomknits@gmail.com. I am coming to you from coastal Virginia, where I live with my husband and our 3 dogs, Bandit, Copper, and Finley. And this is a knitting podcast. I will share all of my crafty adventures with you, which, full disclosure, not many adventures for this podcast. I'm anticipating this being a shorter than usual podcast. But I will have links to everything that I talk about down below, and my Ravelry project page will be linked down below. So if you need any more information, please check there. But if for some reason I forgot, or you just had a question, please send me an email or a DM on Instagram. So it has been 2 weeks since I last put up a video, 4 weeks since I last podcasted. But 2 weeks ago, I was getting ready for a big trip with my school. I was chaperoning, I was one of 4 teacher chaperones who went to Boston with a group of students and parents, and it was amazing. More on that later. But I did kind of like a vlog. I came on screen and talked a little bit, but I did more of like a vlog style video of packing and errands and what knitting I was going to take. And I had so many ideas about how much I was going to knit. That's okay. So if you missed that, please go back on YouTube and check it out. It was episode 8, even though it was a vlog style. But this is episode 9. It is May 29th. It is a Sunday. Happy Memorial Day. Thank you to everyone who has served in our military or as a first responder. Thank you for your willingness to protect my family. That's really how I see it. My father and grandfather were both in the military. They were both in the Army. Go Army. So thank you for those who have made the ultimate sacrifice and those who have been willing to make that ultimate sacrifice. My family and I support you 100%. And we are immensely grateful for what you're willing to do. So as I said, I'm anticipating this being a fairly short episode because a month ago, podcast episode 7, I talked about how little knitting mojo I have, or I had then. I don't have any more now. I think it's the end of school. That's my best guess. I'm coming home at the end of the day. I'm a teacher. If this is your first time watching, I teach middle school. Friday is the last day with the students, and then the following Wednesday is my last day of school for this year. And that's just busy. It's just a busy time of year. And I'm guessing that's what it is. I don't know. I just don't want to knit. I come home and the only thing I want to do is play on my phone for a little bit and go to bed. I just don't have the brain space to do anything else. And if I'm being really honest with you guys, because I do think of you as my friends, and so we're just sitting at knit group and chatting, my mental health has been a little bit of a problem here lately. Struggle is a better word. It's been a little bit of a struggle lately. And by a little bit, I mean a lot. My anxiety and OCD have been unkind. That's the way I usually word it. They have been unkind. And, it's one of those, if you know, you know, but when when I battle all day with my anxiety and my OCD, and then I come home, I'm so tired because I've been battling all day. Feels like I've run a marathon by the time I get home. So I'm Sure, that's a big part of it. I know that I have something big coming up after school ends, for me personally, that I know is weighing on me. I know it's the end of school. I know that there's a lot of work in that. A lot of sadness as some of my students are not going to be my students again next year. So yeah, it's just, there's just a lot. There's just a lot. I was messaging yesterday with Kristen and Maddie of the We Share Needles podcast, and because they shared a little bit about this on their most recent podcast episode, and I sent them a message just to let them know that they, 100% weren't alone, and I appreciate how open they are, and in large part they gave me the courage to talk about that on here. But I told them, I feel like sometimes I've got all these feelings and they're not going to come out with words because I don't have words for them. So they just come out in tears. And all I can do is pray, take a deep breath, go to bed, and be grateful that God's mercies are new in the morning and we get to go again. So yeah, that's me. There's not going to be a ton of knitting content. I'll show you what I have, and talk a little bit about my goals and kind of thoughts for these coming weeks. My plan is to podcast again in 2 weeks, and that will mean that school is officially over. I will be done with my week with the students. I will be done with my week of like finishing out the year, finishing out grades, meetings, all that stuff. And I plan to be back then in 2 weeks to talk about kind of my summer goals and my hope that my knitting mojo will come back. I am hopeful. So all that to say, let's get started with some knitting content. So the first thing I want to talk about is actually something that I talked about on episode 7. This is my May Desert Vista Dye Works socks. The colorway is the Magician's Nephew. It is on the ZN base, which is the glitter base. This pattern has been in testing for the month of May. My testers did an absolutely amazing, amazing job. I am so grateful to them for being willing to test knit this pattern for me. And as of today, again, it's May 29th. As of today, the pattern is out on Ravelry. These are my Bumps in the Road socks. Because every once in a while, you're cruising along life and you get a little bump in the road. And we overcome them and we keep going because that's what we do. So these are the Bumps in the Road socks. They are a very straightforward, kind of simple knit purl combination. I think Copper just gave his snort of approval for his mommy's new pattern. Again, the pattern is up on Ravelry, and I am running a promotion code through next Sunday, which I believe is June. I should have looked that up. The 7th? Sean.
Yeah.
What's next Sunday?
The 4th, I think.
Oh, I was way off. No, it's the 5th. To the 5th?
No, hang on a second.
7th? I said the 7th a minute ago.
No, let's see, the 5th.
The 5th. Okay. It's the 5th. My fault. So until June 5th, you can get 15% off the pattern on Ravelry if you use the code BUMPS15, and I'll put it down here on the screen. Just as a way of saying thank you for supporting my business. My little small business, my little dog mom knit self. So Ravelry, if for whatever reason you cannot use Ravelry, please just send me an email. Again, dogmomknits@gmail.com, and we will find a way to get you the pattern if you are interested. It does work. It is designed to be used with self-striping yarn. So if you're doing the 8th annual Desert Vista Dye Works monthly sock club, that's kind of what gave me the inspiration. But I do have a note in the pattern for what you can do if you're going to use a tonal or variegated yarn. So it's designed kind of with self-striping in mind, but again, it'll work either way. It's really fun. So again, Bumps in the Road sock on Ravelry, Bumps in the Road socks on Ravelry. And the code is BUMPS15 for 15% off between now and June 5th. Is that what we just decided, that Sunday was June 5th? I think that's what we said. Okay, so moving on to things that I actually, like let's not even say actually knit, because that's not true. Let's talk about my May goals. So if you are new to the channel, I have 3 goals that I set for myself every month, which just makes me laugh that I even thought that was going to be a thing. I think I've missed more than I've hit each month, but it is what it is. So my goals were to start and finish a new project, pick up and finish a UFO, an unfinished object, or a whip that's been in my whip pile for a long time, and to start and finish a pair of Desert Vista Dye Works socks for the 8th annual Desert Vista Dye Works monthly sock club. So for May, my goal was to finish my outstanding shawl. Nope, didn't even touch it. Haven't knit a single stitch on it in the entire month of May. Second goal, my UFO, was my sweet and sour socks. This is a sock yarn from Yarnable. It is the August 2021 colorway of the Yarnable box from Hypnotic Yarn. I had 1 sock finished, and so my goal was to finish the other sock this month. This was going to be the sock that got all of my attention in Boston, and somehow I thought I was just going to knit so much and I was going to get so much done. Nope, I got this much done. What can I say? 55 people in Boston. It's a lot. It's tiring. I didn't have the brain space to knit. Excuse me for itching my nose. My allergies are driving me crazy today. So I did get the cuff done. I got a good amount of, decent amount of progress done on the leg. These are, yeah, that's it. That's all I've got. So obviously didn't meet that goal. That's okay. It'll be fine. I am just, hold on, I'm checking my notes to make sure I'm not lying to you. I am just going to roll these over, and these are going to be my June UFO project. So I am going to keep these as my June project. Hopefully in the month of June, when school lets out, I will have time to actually knit. That would be lovely. And maybe I can get that sock done. It is in my Daisy bag from Mountain State Stitches. I love this bag. I love all of Jenny's bags. So yeah, like I said, it went to Boston with me, and I got next to nothing done, because Boston was way busier than I thought it would be, in such a good way. Don't get me wrong. I loved it, but it makes me laugh to think that I was I'm going to knit 3 socks and I'm going to need extra yarn. Nope. It didn't happen. So my third goal for May was my May Desert Vista Dye Works socks. I am participating in the 8th annual Desert Vista Dye Works monthly sock club, which is where you knit a project with yarn from Desert Vista Dye Works. So my yarn for May it's called Summer Harvest. It's beautiful. I love it. So I have one sock done. The pattern that I am using is the Cold Brew socks from Allison of Lofty Loops. The only modification, oh no, I made 2 modifications. I did a heel flap and gusset, and then I only did the patterning on the top of the foot. I did not do the pattern on the bottom of the foot. And I believe I did that on the pair that I test knit for her too. I just like how it looked. So this pattern is so much fun and it goes so fast. And if I would have been, I would have been done quite a while ago if I had had any brain space to knit. But again, the first one is done. I was knitting on it this morning while we were doing a Skype chat with our eldest daughter, who is our first foreign exchange student. We call her our oldest daughter. And so I started the heel flap this morning. So I have lots to do. I am hoping that I can get these done tomorrow because it's Memorial Day and I won't have school. But I also have a ton of papers to grade before the end of the school year. So yeah, we're going to be, we meaning me, I'm going to be cutting it really close this month. But yeah, that's it. I didn't even finish one sock this month yet. No, that's not true. I finished one sock. I need to finish the second one and then, yeah, my goals. It's okay. And I'm sorry if I'm looking down and I'm distracted. I do have a notebook down here that has my notes in it. My brain is, even as I'm sitting here recording this podcast, I am remembering things that I need to do for school and things that need to be put on my to-do list so I don't forget them. So having that list of things like talking points is, it's just beyond necessary right now. I can't even imagine what this podcast would be if I didn't have that. So May was May. It wasn't great goals wise. I had some struggles. So we get to turn the calendar. We get to go to June and try again. So if you are at all active on Instagram or YouTube, you probably know the Crazy Sock Lady, and you know that she hosts a make-along every summer, which she calls Summer Sock Camp. And Summer Sock Camp started Saturday, May 28th. I did not cast anything on for it because I must finish my Desert Vista Dye Works socks for May. But I do have plans for Summer Sock Camp, and you're going to notice that as I start talking about my June goals. So I've already shared that my UFO for June is going to be my sweet and sour socks from Yarnable, Hypnotic Yarn. My Desert Vista Dye Works socks for the month of June are going to be this colorway, which I showed before in acquisitions, and it is called, as I almost drop it, it is called Great Barrier Reef. For anybody who knows or has watched the channel or watches his channel, my husband, who is the guy who sews on Instagram and YouTube, he's Australian. So I have been to Australia a few times. I absolutely love it. I have not been to the reef yet. It is 100% on my bucket list to snorkel in the reef. In the reef? Near the reef? On? No. In. Whatever preposition is used for swimming in and around the reef. Maybe we'll just phrase it like that. So I knew when I bought this yarn that this was going to be one of my summer colorways. And so I grabbed it to be my June yarn because I just think it looks so summery, and you know, snorkeling in the reef sounds very summery. So this is going to be my Desert Vista Dye Works yarn. I am thinking I'm just going to go straight vanilla. I say that I might do something different, but I think I'm just going to go straight vanilla with it. And then my new project for June, I'm going to use the April, I believe this was, the April Hypnotic Yarnable colorway. It's called Mermazing. And I have a pattern idea that I want to try that I think would look really, really beautiful in this colorway. So I would like my new project for June to not only be to start and finish this pair of socks, but to also start, finish, and write up the pattern for this pair of socks. And if it happens, it will be pattern number 3, which I think is really exciting. And I will be asking for testers at the end of June if it works out. So please follow me on Instagram if you don't already, because very likely the tester call will go out on Instagram because I podcast every other week. So there's that. Summer sock camp. Desert Vista Dye Works socks. Finish my sweet and sour socks. And then start and write up my pattern for, with the Mermazing socks. So 3 pairs of socks. 2 pairs of socks and 1 unfinished sock. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that this month I will be able to come back at the end of June and go, I did it, you guys. I finally made my goals. We'll see. Are you participating in summer sock camp? Leave a comment down below if you are. I would love it. I would love to see all of the socks that you are knitting if you are participating in summer sock camp. So I think I'll go into my acquisitions now, which I don't have very many of those either, which is shocking. So the first thing I have is not yarn or knitting, but it's kind of knitting adjacent. Yarn adjacent. I love watching Kristen of Do So Knits. She has a podcast here on YouTube and she is on Instagram, and she every month does a stash in and stash out video, and she uses this like little whiteboard to track her stash. So she knows how many skeins of yarn she's got and how many she's used. And I just thought that was such a fun idea. And there was a part of me, I've wanted to do this for a little while, and there was a part of me that was like, do I really want to count my stash? Do I really want to know how many skeins of yarn I have? And I was watching her video in May, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to do it. So I went on Amazon, I bought it. I'll link it down below. The one that I got, but I mean, it doesn't really matter. And I'm just going to reach behind the camera and grab it. And so I counted up my stash, and that's what I've got. Hold on, let me see if I can pull it all the way back so you can see it. Yeah. Is it at all obvious that I like buying sock yarn? I mean, I like knitting socks too. But yeah, look at all of that. 27 skeins of sock yarn. And that does not include the acquisitions that are sitting over here. That's just what's in the bin over there. It's all good. It'll be fine. So you can tell that I don't really have a lot of some of the heavier weighted yarn because I don't know what to do with it. If I see cool yarn that I like, I'm like, oh, I can totally make a pair of socks out of this. But I don't ever see it and go, oh, that'd make a beautiful sweater, because I'm afraid of sweaters. This side over here is going to be where I total up my whips, but I just have not had the brain space to go through all of my whips and count them and decide what's going to stay on the needles, what's going to be frogged, like, because that's a whole process that I want to take. I don't want to just count my whips. I want to go through them and decide, like, this is what I'm keeping, this is what I'm getting rid of, or no, this is what I'm keeping, this is what I'm frogging. If I'm frogging it, is the yarn going into stash or am I going to get rid of it? Like, that's a whole conversation that I need to have with myself. Excuse me for reaching behind the camera again. That is a whole conversation that I need to have with myself, but it is not a conversation that I can currently have right now. So I'm hoping as we go into summer, that can be one of the first kind of big things on my summer to-do list is to go through my whips and decide what's staying and what's being frogged. So that was my first acquisition. My second acquisition was I used my coupon code for participating in the first quarter of the Desert Vista Dye Works monthly sock club. And I ordered some yarn because I don't have enough of her yarn to get through the year yet. Hopefully soon. But I went on, I believe these were colorways that were listed in April. And I went on and just fell in love with some of these colorways. And so I was like, thank you for the coupon code because yeah, needed it. I needed these. So I got 3 skeins of yarn. They are all, hold on, let me just double check that. Yes, they are all on her Viso base, which is 75/25 superwash merino nylon, 462, right? Yeah, 462 yards. And I'll show her logo, but they're all Desert Vista Dye Works. This colorway is called Dollywood. How can you not smile when you think about Dolly Parton? Come on, she's just, she's amazing. I went to Dollywood once when I was very, very young. I mean, I was probably not even 10 years old, and I remember it still and remember loving it. I keep trying to convince Sean, my husband, that we need to go one year to Dollywood. But isn't that so fun? Like, just such bright, springy colors, summer colors. The second one I got, again, Desert Vista Dye Works Viso base, was this one, which looks a little Christmassy, if I'm being honest, and that's okay. The colorway name is Fried Green Tomatoes. Guys, do you love that movie? Yeah, I'm obsessed. I love that movie so much. Leave a comment down below. Tell me if you're a Fried Green Tomatoes fan. Sean was like, I mean, the colorway, it's okay. And I'm like, what do you, excuse me? Like, it's okay. Nothing that has to do with fried green tomatoes is just okay. It's just, I totally see the inspiration. I am so going to have to watch the movie while I'm knitting on these socks. I haven't seen the movie in a while. Maybe I'll get the audiobook and read the audiobook too. Be a fun summer project if these were my July socks. Note to self. Make that a thing. And then the third one I got is this one. And it is called 1949 M&Ms. So M&Ms are one of my favorite candies. I love them so much. I love when we go to New York City, I pretty much always drag Sean into the M&M store in Times Square. He's like, do we really have to go back there? And I'm like, what if they have new stuff? I need to go see it. So when I saw this and I saw the colors, I was like, yep, I need it. Need it in my life. I've got my M&M socks. So I got those 3. those will be, that'll get me through what? June. I have June, July, August, September. I just ordered another one today, October. So I only need 2 more in order to finish out the year. That's pretty good. Sorry, I am reaching out of screen. So my next acquisition isn't even one that I purchased. Sean was out running errands 2 weeks ago, last week, I think. No, it wasn't last week, like 2 weeks ago. And he happened to be near our local yarn store, which is about 30 minutes away from us. But she's amazing. She has some of the best yarn. Oh my gosh, I love her yarns that she carries. And he popped in to say hi and to get his wife some yarn, which I thought was really sweet. So this is Dream Color to Life. Is that right? No, I was right the first time. Dream in Color Smooshy Sock. And the colorway is Simone and Susan, which I don't know what that's referencing. I need to Google it. Or maybe you guys can tell me if you know. Clue a girl in. But it's just beautiful. Look at how well my husband knows me, you guys. All these pinks and purples. Look at all that right there. Oh, I'm so excited. It is an 85% superwash, fine merino wool, 15% nylon, 420 yards. I am so excited to have this be a pair of socks because it's just gorgeous. It's just gorgeous. And it means so much to me that he drove past Baba. That's our local yarn store, Baba Sheep. That he drove past and he was like, Amanda has been busy and struggling lately. I will make her smile. Very sweet. So these will be a very special pair of socks. Then the last acquisition that I have is from 3 by the Sea Designs. They put out their summer update. They had some amazing progress keepers and stitch markers, which I already had. Like, I got a whole 10 of them a month or 2 ago. So I was like, I really shouldn't. But they had 2 project bags that I was like, oh, they're so cute though. So I had to get one. And the one that I picked was just, even when Sean saw it, and Sean makes project bags, like most of my project bags are his. But when he saw it, he was like, oh my gosh, that's so cute. Are you going to order that? And I was like, yes. Yes, I am. Look at it. Here, I'll show you the side that doesn't have pins on it. Oh my goodness, you guys. Look how cute they are. They are smiling marshmallows and graham crackers and candy bars. Oh my gosh. This s'mores bag is so cute. So I have decided that this is going to be my summer sock camp bag. So I put my 2 pins on it from last year and the year before. And the Crazy Sock Lady did her summer sock camp update, merchandise update yesterday. And so I got my pin for this year. So I'll show that on the next podcast when it arrives. Let me go ahead and show you 3 by the Sea. This is their logo. And then this is their information. I have no idea if it's going to focus. You know how my camera is. But this is going to be for all of my summer sock camp socks. It is the cutest. I love it so much. I cannot. And I love that it came with a little wrist strap. So you can just undo the zipper a little bit, pull your yarn out, and you can walk around and knit with it. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. Oh, wait. Look at the inside. I've got yarn in here already. Hold on. Look at the inside. It's marshmallows and little fires. And then the little zipper pull progress keeper is a campfire. Come on. You guys. If you are not obsessed with 3 by the Sea like I am, order like one thing. That's how it started for me. I ordered a stitch marker and I haven't stopped. And I will not stop. Every time they put out an update, I'm like, here you go, guys. Look how fun that is. Like maybe it'll capture this as like one of my stills for my YouTube thing. That'd be really fun. Okay. So, the only thing left on my list is my life update. So if you are not here for that, thank you so much for tuning in. And I will see you in 2 weeks with, fingers crossed, some actual progress. So life update. I am still reading the Maggie Sefton series. I am on book 15, the next to the last of the series. And I have to be honest, I'm not really liking it. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure what it is about. Maybe I've just been reading the series too. Like I'm kind of ready to start something new, but I don't know. I'm not finding myself when I go to bed wanting to pick up the book. I'm kind of like, man, maybe I'll just play on my phone, which is not good. And I've been trying to really discipline myself to say like, okay, it's time to put your phone down and read your book. So hopefully I'll get out of that little rut and I'll be able to enjoy it. Sean and I have been watching The Circle on Netflix. If you haven't seen it, it's kind of a reality competition TV show based around The Circle, which is like social media kind of. I enjoy it. Sean enjoys it. It's kind of a fun, mindless TV show. That, you know, again, you don't have to like work hard to understand it, but it keeps us interested. Murdoch Mysteries has been releasing their 15th season, I believe. A new episode comes out every Monday. That's on Acorn. That's where I watch it, is on Acorn. And so I have been watching that slowly. I'm trying to spread it out because I love Murdoch Mysteries, so I don't want it to be done too soon. I'm like, give myself some time with William and Julia and George and Breckenridge and all them. Oh, my favorite Canadians. And I went back and started White Collar on Hulu. So I have watched this entire series before, but my brain really just wanted something comfortable. So something that I already knew I enjoyed, where it was characters that I liked, people that I kind of wanted to spend my time with, I guess, if that's how I was going to word it. And so I went back to White Collar. It is just as good as I remember. So that's been great to kind of finish my evenings with, and try to get myself knitting a little bit in the evenings. As I said, this is the last week of school coming up, the last week of school with the students. It's bittersweet. It always is. You know, I'm ready for a break. I'm ready to not set an alarm and not have such a crazy hectic to-do list. But I teach 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And so it's my last week with my 8th graders. And so that's really sad. So that's, you know, the bitter part of the last week of school. And I think I said it earlier, but in 2 weeks, when I come back with my next podcast, I'm going to talk about my summer goals. I have some things that I've already been thinking about, but I am going to set some goals, kind of modify the monthly goals that I have. I'm still going to be new UFO Desert Vista Dye Works, but add some things to it. So that'll be in 2 weeks. I hope you are enjoying your start to the month of June. I hope whatever you are knitting is making you happy. And I hope you know that wherever you are in the world, consider you part of my village. And if you need someone to talk to or to pray with or whatever, I'm always just an email or Instagram DM away. So thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you in 2 weeks. Happy knitting.